What's going on, guys? I'm Brandon from Walker's Woodworks. Welcome back to the channel. I get asked quite a bit, which tools should I upgrade first to increase productivity and just get stuff done a little bit quicker around the shop? And today I'm going to go over a few of those tools with you guys. Stay tuned. People ask me all the time, message me and say, what tool should I upgrade first? And I usually ask them what their end goal is. Are they trying to just get cool new tools, which is never a bad thing, or are they actually trying to make this into a business and get product out the door? In that case, you're going to want to buy whatever is going to up your productivity, obviously. My first purchase, when I was really doing a lot of client builds and needed to get my turnaround time quicker, was a track saw. And I use this thing all the time, even still. I use it mostly for trimming the ends of tabletops. So I'll have a tabletop glued up, I'll put the track on the end, square it up. I even have an attachment you can hook on the track, and it turns the track itself into a square, so you don't have to start measuring and everything. It just squares it right up with the side. And it's really good for breaking down sheet goods, super fast at that. Cut slabs, I mean, the list is endless, really. So this is the Makita version, works amazing. This is the cordless one. They also have a corded one. There's a ton of other brands that have them, Festool, Triton, Craig even has one now. DeWalt has one. I haven't used that one, but I'm sure it's great. They have dust collection on them, which works amazing, at least on the Makita. It bevels to 45 degrees. I mean, there's tons of reviews out there. I'm not going to go over all that with you guys, but the first tool that I would recommend, track saw. So next on my list is a good Orbital Sander, something you're going to use on every project pretty much every day if you're a woodworker. And I think that it's a really good place to spend money, and you will be doing that with this setup. Now, to be clear, Mirka did send me this to try out, and I love it. I have Festool stuff as well, and it's great, and the vacuums work just fine. I've used them from other people's shops as well, but this setup right here is definitely by far my favorite. This is the 6-inch Mirka. It has different settings in it to adjust for what size pad you have on here to take away vibration. You can literally set it down, put your finger on the paddle, and it just glides around. There's no jumping around. It doesn't vibrate your hand. You don't feel all tingly when you're done. You can sand for hours and it's just fine. And there's almost zero dust, especially if you're sanding on a flat surface. If you're sanding around edges, obviously some dust is gonna get out, but I actually watch it and it will come out and suck back in, and it's pretty entertaining to watch. And believe it or not, the sander is actually Bluetooth, so it has an app on your phone, which I don't really mess with that much, to be honest with you. But it does have multiple speeds, and it just cuts my working time down so much, especially with the net sandpaper. This is the Iridium regular paper because I was doing edging. But doing flat surfaces, the net paper, like you see here behind me, Abranet, and the Abralon and the higher grits is just phenomenal. So it's definitely a good thing to sink money into and will last you for a long time. So probably the thing I get asked the most about is my table saw. This is a SawStop 3 horsepower, 36-inch table, professional grade saw. People ask me all the time, do you regret it? Would you do it again? And my answer is always absolutely, I would do it again. This thing is a beast. I can run 8-quarter maple or any hardwood through it all day and it will not even slow down. And not to mention the safety aspect of it, which is a lot cheaper for a saw than an ER visit. So that's really what sold it for me. But I was just at a point where I was doing a lot of big tops and slabs and things like that where I needed the power of this saw to cut down 8-quarter and bigger stock really to be more effective in the shop. So this was just a no-brainer for me. If you're doing a lot of small stuff, you don't need a big table saw, then I mean, I guess not, but the safety aspect alone for me was definitely a big seller. The next thing on my list to upgrade, especially if you do a lot of pocket hole joinery, is the Craig Foreman. This thing is crazy efficient, especially over doing it manually with the KFOR, which is what I used to use. Doing the auto adjust armor clamp is a huge game changer. If you don't want to spend the money on this, I would definitely recommend at least grabbing that, or doing like the K5, which I'm pretty sure also has an auto adjust clamp built in. Don't quote me on that because I've never used one, but I have used this at my buddy Oscar's house and I love this thing. Craig was gracious enough to send me one of my own, and I've only used it a little bit in the shop, but I definitely plan to put it to use in the near future. So that is something else you guys can throw around the idea of for upping the productivity in your shop. You guys knew it was coming, and that's why I saved it for last. The Festool Domino. It's probably something I get the most crap for having in my shop, and I can't understand why. It is expensive, but not as expensive as my SawStop, and I don't get crap for that. So I don't understand why everybody has something against this machine. It is a huge time saver, and it's already paid for itself probably 2 to 3 times over. And I did pay for it myself. I saved up money from client builds to get it. No one sent it to me, so I don't feel bad for having it or using it. Basically, for those of you that don't know, it does floating mortise and tenon style joinery. So if you really want to get into those higher end pieces, charge a little bit more money, and just have an overall better woodworking experience with the joinery methods. Once you get used to using this thing, it just makes stuff fly through the shop. This one does up to 10 millimeter dominoes. It's the 500. They make a bigger one, and I believe it's, I don't know, it's like 15 or 1600 bucks, but I don't really do anything that large. The 10 millimeter domino is plenty for what I do, and I do some pretty chunky bases. I've just found out if you use more dominoes, it's plenty strong. So if you guys are wanting to up your joinery game and do it efficiently, in my opinion, this is definitely the way to go. Really appreciate you guys watching these kind of videos. If you like these, leave me a comment down below and let me know. I will leave links to all these tools in the description as well. And until next time, guys have a good one.